Hello everybody, I'm TheyLiveGlasses and welcome to my channel. So first of all, who am I? I'm a human being style person from the UK. I'm kind of left-leaning, sort of creative type of dude, so I'm very pro-artistic freedom and anti-censorship. I grew up listening to kind of hardcore and punk music and took a lot of kind of politics and ideas from that, so I'm kind of anti-authority, broadly speaking, kind of a contrarian sort of person, I guess. I generally want to know about things I'm not supposed to know about. Like if someone tells me I can't look at something, then it sounds to me like I better sort of look at that thing. I've always been interested in kind of subcultures and that kind of thing, like the stuff that kind of Louis Theroux and John Ronson and Nick Broomfield kind of look at, those kind of things, and just generally digging into like the underbelly of stuff, trying to find new angles on things and kind of see what's going on really. So why am I making a channel? This all started when I was watching some videos of fails on YouTube, like old people falling off boats and kids riding bikes into trees and that kind of thing. And then I started finding clips of like feminist fails and social justice warrior fails. And I was like, oh, what's this? Like, surely everyone's pro-feminism, aren't they? Like, how can you not be pro-feminism? That doesn't make sense. So I started kind of looking into this kind of thing. I came across the kind of skeptosphere, as people are calling it. I came across a lot of videos about feminism and men's rights activism and kind of social justice warriors and the MGTOW subculture, men going their own way. Heard a lot of all kinds of different views and ideas I hadn't really heard before and stuff, and it led to me kind of questioning my ideas and ideology and kind of stuff like that, because I kind of found that I was very opposed to a lot of these left-leaning people and what they were doing and the way they were doing things. So I kind of had to question, well, am I still a left-leaning person? Have I kind of got conservative as I've gone older, as some people do? So I kind of looked more into like political ideologies in more detail, conservatism and classical liberalism and stuff, and found I didn't really chime with a lot of the ideas of conservatism, and that the principles of it I believe in, kind of like the welfare state and the NHS, trade unions, all that kind of stuff. They're kind of left-leaning things. So I was like, oh, okay, well I am still a left-leaning person. So I kind of looked into this more, started trying to reorientate my ideas around like classical liberalism and kind of rational thought principles and that kind of stuff. And so I spent about kind of like a year and a half looking into all this, kind of examining like biases in myself and the people around me in society and kind of views of people in general. I found a lot of the work of very interesting people like Dave Rubin, Carl Benjamin, Gad Saad, Douglas Murray, Janice Fiamengo, Jordan Peterson, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Sarah Hayder, all these kind of people, and then people like Erin Pizzey and Camille Paglia, who've been kind of dealing with these issues for a long time, and then all the kind of new cultural critics and skeptics on YouTube and stuff. So it's been very interesting. And for a few years I've always felt like there's been this kind of creeping censorship going on. I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast a lot, not as much as I used to, but he was always talking about, Seinfeld didn't want to visit college campuses because they were too PC, and then there was Shirtgate with the scientist's shirt and that whole palaver. And then John Ronson kind of talking about Twitter shaming and the kind of culture of the gotcha kind of culture and people losing their jobs over jokes on Twitter and this kind of stuff. And I felt like this was all kind of building up in a way to kind of some type of thing happening. So I kind of gradually uncovered what was going on, and I found this whole network of kind of rabbit holes to go down and stuff. And I kind of figured out, oh, there are certain kind of people who are doing these things. It's coming from a certain kind of censorious ideology. It moved from me kind of looking at these people as being like, oh, they're kind of, look at these crazy people, they're wacky, aren't they? To kind of seeing these ideas kind of permeating into the mainstream and becoming part of like, the cultural discussion. And I was starting to get kind of really like stressed out about kind of seeing this censorious, authoritarian kind of behaviour from people everywhere and stuff, and the effect it was having. It was like, seems to be creeping into like films and like video games and comic books and atheism and heavy metal and just like all kinds of subcultures and people's hobbies and stuff. And I was always seeing the same kind of buzzwords and terminology being used, and it seems to be going kind of in one direction, kind of. So, there are more serious consequences to it, but in a more general sense, it's just kind of making shit boring and homogenous and all round less fun for people, as well as making a climate of fear where people are treading on eggshells all the time around important topics, and it's stopping us having conversations and getting to the bottom of problems we're having in society at the moment. So it's kind of woken up my fire to stand up for kind of free expression, and artistic and academic pursuits, and the ability to challenge authority and bad ideas and that kind of thing. And it's given me an idea of the kind of battlegrounds that these things are being fought on, and it's been very interesting. And that's that's the core of it all, really, to me. Is I hate authoritarianism and people telling other people what to do or what to think, or banning or censoring things, or trying to control language and the way people think and communicate. So this is the angle I'm kind of coming from with dealing with the topics I'm going to be dealing with on this channel. It's kind of from a free speech and censorship angle, broadly speaking, as I feel these factors kind of underpin a lot of the other issues and problems and things that are going on. So that's kind of how I got to the stage of wanting to make a channel about these kind of things. So what am I going to be doing with the channel? What kind of videos am I making stuff? Well, I'm going to be looking at different ideologies, examining their ideas and viewpoints and stuff, looking at new versions and revivals of political and social movements that are kind of going on at the moment, internet subcultures, cultural Marxism, the alt-right, the culture war that's going on kind of on YouTube, Islam, migration and culture classes and stuff like that's going on. Looking at academia, a bit of history and philosophy to put things in context, men's rights issues, transgender issues, Gamergate, Black Lives Matter, Islam, and some feminism. You can bet your sweet eyes we're going to be talking about some feminism, oh yes. And just kind of poking about with these narratives and agendas that are going on to see if they stand up to scrutiny or any kind of basic facts and common sense and stuff. So I'm going to be looking at propaganda videos made by channels like MTV Decoded, Al Jazeera Plus and BuzzFeed, that kind of thing. Looking at those in terms of the way they're put together, the kind of non-verbal communication going on through the body language, editing, music, those kind of non-verbal kind of factors of how the propaganda is put together. I'm going to be talking about some personal stories, stuff that's happened to me. I'm going to be looking at the reactions of people to the ideas I kind of mentioned before. Going to interview some people, Muslim friends of mine, transgender friends of mine, friends who are ladies who work in tech or the music industry or stuff like that, to kind of get their perspectives on stuff. I'm basically going to poke ideas and movements and sort of see what's going on with them. It's going to get weird, it's going to get awkward, and it's going to be some good time. One of the reasons I'm making this channel is to kind of share these new perspectives and ideas and stuff that I've come across, and also to kind of get it off my chest, because it's kind of stressful. These are kind of pretty heavy topics sometimes, and it's stressful to be dealing with them and looking at them and thinking about them and stuff sometimes. So that's one of the reasons, is to organise all this stuff into some kind of rational order and get it off my chest, and kind of before I lose my marbles. Or before they start moving copies of 1984 from the fiction to the reference section of bookshops and libraries, which I can see happening quite soon. So yeah, there's going to be links and sources to stuff I'm talking about. I'll have the comments open so we can chat and discuss about stuff. You can hit me up on social media for the same purposes. And I'll have on my channel as well a bunch of playlists kind of organised around all the different topics I mentioned before, and some of the people I mentioned before and their work, so you can look into that as well. So that's about it, really. Hopefully you'll join me on this magical and maddening journey of discovery and craziness, and we can figure out all this stuff together and kind of figure out what's going on. But for now, I appreciate you stopping by. Look after yourselves, and I will catch you on the next one.